Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Friday. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. New developments tonight in the battle over who controls the Crow tribe's purse strings.
A federal judge orders First Interstate Bank to unfreeze nearly $2.5 million, citing extreme danger during these below-zero temperatures.
Now, this ruling amid tribal controversy allows Crow tribal chair Alvin Notafrade the authority to access the tribe's money.
Q2's David J. has been following this story and is standing by now with the very latest. David.
Well, Jeanelle, Russ, U.S. District Judge Susan Waters' order also recognizes Alvin Notafrade as the Crow tribal chair, even though that is being disputed by the tribe's vice chair. Notafrade stated in an affidavit there is a risk of bodily injury or death without heat, electricity, food, water, and medical transport. Today's order allows Notafrade the authority to access the accounts at First Interstate Bank pending a hearing on Thursday, February 14th. First Interstate had asked the court to hold the funds until it determined who legally has signing authority. Vice Chair Carlson goes ahead, claimed he is the chair after a recall vote on January 19th, but since then, the Crow Tribal Court issued orders recognizing Notafrade as chair. Waters stated in her order, the court respects the Crow Tribal Court's orders. We left messages but have not yet heard back from Chairman Notafrade and Vice Chairman goes ahead. Again, a hearing on the matter is scheduled for February 14th in Billings. Russ, Jeanelle?
All right, thank you, David.
Well, it looks as though a former Miles City athletic trainer accused in a massive sex abuse case may go to jail. Just this week, his public defender filed a motion to change his plea to guilty.
Q2's Andrea Lutz has been following these developments. Andrea, what happens now?
Well, it is all going to take place next Tuesday in Billings Federal Court. That's when Jensen will admit to guilt. Still, there is an ongoing massive civil case from victims who say Jensen abused them during high school exams. Jensen was charged back in December with using the internet to entice and coerce minors to engage in sexual activity. He was also charged in October in Custer County District Court for child pornography when authorities discovered images of teen boys on his home computer. However, after all of this, it really stems from a September lawsuit that was filed by 31 men who said that they were student athletes when Jensen used a sophisticated cycle of sexual abuse on them. Jensen is facing 15 years in prison, and this did bring some relief to victims. I spoke with attorneys for those in this civil case who said that they are glad Jensen is being held accountable, taking responsibility for what he did. Russ and Jeanelle.
All right, thanks, Andrea.
Well, Montanans in the northeast corner are experiencing the coldest temperatures in the nation. Antelope, Montana, which is about 8 miles south of Plentywood, got down to 50 degrees below zero this morning. That's without the wind chill.
But considering the cold, the Sheridan County Sheriff's Office has not had reports of too many issues other than vehicles not wanting to start. Now, those with the National Weather Service out of Glasgow say it's the coldest temp of the year, but surprisingly, it's not a record. I talked with Dave Van Wieren up in the Antelope Bar today to let him know his town made the record, and he told me, quote, "It feels like it." Thanks for the photos, Dave.
So how did it get so cold? Well, clear skies, fresh snow on the ground, and an Arctic blast of cold air from Canada, all creating the perfect recipe for those chilling temperatures. Just looked cold in those pictures.
Did you see the flag out there waving too? So that had some wind with it too.
Wow, for the latest on the weather front, Bob McGuire.
Hi there. Yeah, let me show you what it was. It was an Arctic cold front that moved through last night. We're going to show you how it was working here. The way the color screen works, the lighter the color is, the colder it's getting. And, of course, you see a cold front moving through Montana today. And it was kind of warmer in Billings area because the cold front hadn't got here yet. But since then, now it has moved through. And by tomorrow morning, we're looking at all that cold air from Canada making its way through Montana into Wyoming and obviously into the Billings area. So here's what our weekend forecast looks like. We had to amend it a little bit. Looks like our high temperature on Saturday will now be 0 with a 20% chance for snow in the morning, 50% chance for snow that evening, and we cool down to 9 below 0. Sunday back up to 5 above 0 with a low that night of 3 below 0 and a 40% chance for snow showers late. But there is some good news. We actually start climbing our way back up to 27 degrees by the time next Thursday gets here. Well, the rest of the forecast in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Well, as the cold moves into the weekend, local shelters will see an influx of people needing a place to go. The Billings Crisis Center offers mental health and substance abuse services to area homeless population, but the center can only hold 45 people overnight. Program Director Marcy Neary tells us the center has successfully partnered with 3 area churches to provide shelter and basic care. Now, the program is called My Backyard. Once temperatures hit 32 degrees or lower, the crisis center reaches capacity. The churches take in those with lower level needs. Now, the churches will only take in people who've been screened by the crisis center. A bill allowing Montana microbrewery tap rooms to extend their hours to 10 p.m. died a quick death today. Without discussion, the House Business and Labor Committee voted 16-3 to kill that measure. Montana craft brewers argued at a hearing this week that the additional hours would help the booming industry keep growing. But tavern and restaurant owners opposed the measure, saying it would create unfair competition for retail sales of alcohol, and also that the brewers haven't had to pay for expensive alcohol beverage licenses. A bill to stop Montana judges from suspending someone's driver's license for not paying court fines saw its first hearing today. Judges came out strongly against it. Republican Casey Knutson says people should not be prevented from driving to work just because they can't pay their fines. About 14,000 drivers had their licenses suspended in Montana last year. Judges against the bill say license suspension may be one of the only tools they have to enforce payment of fines. But Knutson says most people are trying. For more than 2 decades, the Rimrock Auto Arena at Metro Park has been the host of the all-class Montana State Wrestling Tournament. The best wrestlers from across the state spend 2 days taking down their competition. And as Q2's Zoe Zandora reports, while the student athletes exert their efforts and skills inside Montana's biggest arena, Yellowstone County is pinning down some dollars on the outside.
It's time to face off. Hundreds of wrestlers suit up in their singlets and hit the mats for the 2019 All-Class Montana State Wrestling Tournament.
I mean, it's a total sense of community. Yeah. It really, really is. I mean, and you know, you've got schools and people from all aspects and corners of Montana.
600 athletes will compete in over 1,100 matches in the largest wrestling spectacle in Montana.
There's very few events anywhere where you are able to have so many walks of life, so many towns, so many different types of representations come out and create its own community.
1988 was the first year the state all-class wrestling tournament was held, and Metro Park was pinned as the host venue. Since then, this tournament and all of its craziness has become an annual economic driver for Yellowstone County.
For us to be able to have this type of economic boost in February for our restaurants and our retailers and our hoteliers is second to none. I mean, it is just an absolute economic boost.
It's a one-of-a-kind event, not only for Montana, but for the region.
This is such a unique event. I mean, you have every class from AA all the way to C, all of those communities, all of those fans, all of those coaches, administrators, principals.
Alex Tyson says this is just the beginning of the busy sports season in Billings.
From this point all the way through the middle of March, this venue and this community will really be having an opportunity to reap the benefits of the economic boost of sports for this area.
In Billings, Zoe Zandora, MTN News.
And tomorrow afternoon at 3:15, a parade will be held for the finalists, where each wrestler who made the championship matches will be introduced. Well, the U.S. Navy has accepted delivery of the future USS Billings during a ceremony at the Marinette Marine Shipyard in Wisconsin. The future USS Billings is the 17th littoral combat ship delivered to the Navy and the 8th of the Freedom variant to join the fleet. Delivery marks the official transfer of the ship from the shipbuilder, part of a Lockheed Martin team, to the Navy. It is the final milestone prior to commissioning, which is planned for later this year. All right, coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, it's an investigation into an investigation as Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker takes the hot seat today. And in sports, Scott shows us which local wrestlers are in position to win state championships tomorrow.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.